So that's me done all 8 rows of square knots, and I've got 2 free strings at the edge of each row on both sides of the bag. So now we are going to tie the bag together. Now this is the tricky part, but what you want to do is put your 2 halves together so that it starts to look a bit like a bag. And we're going to look at it from the side perspective, kind of like this. So I'm just going to hook mine up so it's kind of on the side. And you're going to take the top 2 spare strings that you had, and you're going to take the top 2 from the right and the top 2 from the left, and you're going to tie them together to make a square knot. Now you're going to put them in line with the second row of knots you have, so there's obviously a gap at the top so you can get things in and out your bag. So I've got the top 2 from the right hand side and the top 2 from the left hand side, and I'm going to tie a square knot in line with my second row of knots there. So it's quite hard to do it in mid-air, but you should be a wee dab hand at the square knots by now. So there we go. So now the bag is closed. You can see you have a circle and the bag is closed. So now we just need to deal with the rest of the strings here and just kind of finally close the bag. So as you can see, we didn't tie a knot at the top here on that first row. We started on the second row and we tied 1 knot. And this is the kind of pattern that goes down the side of the bag. So for row 2, we did 1 knot. For row 3, we'll do 2 knots. For row 4, we'll do 3 knots down the side here. So let me kind of show you what I mean. So we've got that top knot there we just did. That's the one securing the whole bag together. And like we've done throughout the whole thing, we're going to split the 2 halves. I'm going to take the right hand 2 strings, and then the next free 2 that we left out on row 2, sorry. There we go. So that's that free 2. They're just next door. You can't really go wrong as long as you just go for the next 2 strings. I'm not grabbing these ones and these ones. I'm grabbing the neighbouring 2. You can see right next to each other. And I'm going to tie this knot in line with row 3. So again, just a square knot. Just get it roughly in line if you can. I know it's quite confusing because it's all on top of each other, but just keep your head. There we go. Perfect. I'm going to flip it over. And we've got that top knot there, and we've got the other half, so the left hand 2 strings. And again, we're just going to pick up the neighbouring 2 that we left out at the top of that row. There we go. And we're going to tie the second knot in line with row 3. There we go. So now you can see we've got 1 and 2. So the next row is row 4, and we want 3 knots. So we're kind of going down in like a triangle, if that makes sense. So there's my knot I just finished. Like always, I'm going to split it into 2, take the left hand 2 and find the neighbouring 2 and put a knot in line with row 4. And I'm going to flip it over. There's my 2 knots there. 1, 2, I'm going to take the 2, split it, take the neighbouring 2. Again, as I say, if you just do it logically, you should be okay. And I'm going to do the second knot on my 4th row. So we've only got 2 knots on the 4th row. We need 3, so obviously it's these 2. The kind of 2 remaining ones that are open there. And I'm just going to, again, kind of tie that in line with that one. Great. So again, let's look at the side. We've got 1, we've got 2, and then we've got 3. 1, 2, 3. So now we're moving on to row 5, and we need 4 knots. So let's just check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to take that knot there, which is the 3rd one on the 3. So 1, 2, 3. I'm going to split it. and get the neighbouring 2 and tie a knot in line with row 5. Okay, moving along, got 2 here, and I'm just going to pick up the neighbouring 2 again, keeping it in line. I'm going to flip it over at this point, check I'm on the right row, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then get the 2 strings I need. So there's the row 4, that was the knot, so split it, take the 2 you want, 2 next door, and tie it in line with row 5. So that's the 3rd knot. And then you can see, there you go, there's 2 spares, it can only be those 2. And that'll be my 4th knot for row 5. And this is kind of the pattern, and you just carry that on down your bag. So obviously for row 6, there's going to be 5 knots. And just take it slow, make sure that they're always neighbouring, and you won't go wrong. So there we go. So now just on that row there, so I'm going to take that knot, split it, pick up the neighbouring 2, and I'm going to tie it in line with row 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Two, neighbouring 2, 2, neighbouring 2,